Trump came here, coming at you from chooserelationships.com, off of Love Can't Wait, which you can find at amazon.com. And today I'm going to talk about some of the best advice my grandparents and my parents gave me when I was growing up about people. It's just a lot of wisdom that they gave me. And even as a kid, of course, I didn't understand everything. I didn't understand where it was coming from at the time. But as I got older and I had more life experience, there's some things that just stick. It sticks out. And I kind of have, kind of reminisce about some of the stuff that they told me, especially when it comes to just people in general. And one of the things, biggest things, especially when it comes to people, what they told me is expect very little from people. And at the time, I was asking them, why is that? He said, because most people you meet, they give up too easily. Most people don't even get started. And this is this is across the board when it comes to anything. Most people have a entitlement mentality. They expect a lot from other people, but they're not going to be all in. They're going to do the least amount, but they expect a lot in return. Because most people don't believe in, their attitude is, they don't believe in a win-win situation on both sides. They believe in one person should win and the other person should lose. And they were saying, if you get in a relationship with somebody, or once you begin to get close to somebody, you just gotta look deep before you leap. It takes time to get to know a woman. It takes time to get to know a man. And then they went on to say that certain groups of people, certain nationalities or races of people, they expect you to be a certain type of way, depending on the group that you're associated with, politically or socially. And if you're different than what they expect, which is based on their perception of you, that's going to throw them off. They don't like that because they want you to be a certain type of way if you want to be around them. They told me that you more than likely, they say I was going to run into that at some point. They said it might happen once you're in your 30s or your 40s, but it might not happen to you when you're in your 20s. So I asked them, I said, why is that? See, like, because people were raised to think and behave in a certain type of way, and they've been conditioned and brainwashed to think the way they do. And perception is most people's reality. So before you even walk through the door, people already have in their mind what they expect out of you, how you supposed to look, how you supposed to talk, all of the above, basically. So they said always keep that in mind. And then they went on to say that most people are going to give up when it comes to relationships. The first argument, first disagreement y'all have, most people are going to throw in the towel. And they're going to move forward and go elsewhere. Move on to the next guy or girl. So I asked him, why is that? He said, because most people have the pie in the sky mentality. They think that everything is supposed to be easy. They think that just because they look good, dress good, have a nice body, have a nice haircut, went to a certain type of school, or live in a certain type of town, or a certain part of town, that somehow they're better than others. So with that, they expect things to go a certain way. They have a high expectations. But at the same time, they expect people to roll out the red carpet for them just because of everything they accomplish. Maybe they're well known, or maybe they're well established. So they automatically expect people to roll out the red carpet for them just because of that. And even if they do stick around, it's going to be a very small amount of people left. For example, if something happens to you, say you might have come on some hard times or something like that, they said don't expect many people to be around, because when it's good times, it's all good. Everyone's gonna be around. Expect that. But if something happens to you, maybe you might get sick. Maybe you might have a car accident. Maybe you might lose your job. Most people are gonna bail out. Most people are gonna talk to you later. Why don't you get back on your feet? Or some might not ever talk to you again. They say you have to expect that to happen. Because, see, most people, they just assume that you're going to ask them for something, or you're going to want something from them. And it's a very selfish way of being. Because most people, not most, but a lot of people are like parasites. They're like little slaves. They'll suck the blood out of you. They'll suck everything out of you as long as you're willing to give. But they don't feel the need to reciprocate in no such way unless they're forced to. Unless they're forced to based on what might happen to them, the consequences. Because most behavior is controlled by consequences. See, most people don't have good morals. Most people don't really think like that. No, most people think about benefits and profits and material gain. So a lot of people will sacrifice almost anybody to get it, because they believe in a winner and a loser. That's their mindset. They don't believe in a win-win on both sides, because most people are greedy. They wake up in the morning thinking about themselves all day long. This is why a lot of people are frustrated, and they get frustrated because they're thinking about themselves too much. See, they get frustrated because they believe that they can do everything by themselves. And that's the second mistake that they made. That's a mistake that I made at one point. I thought that I could do everything all at one time. And I found out the hard way that, no, I can't do everything. It's not all about me. Now I can teach other people how to do some stuff that I do, and that's the key. The key is, if you know how to do something really well, teach other people how to do it, help other people out, and find a way to make it a win-win situation on both sides. That's the formula. But a lot of people don't think like that. They think like, hell, if I know it and you don't, I got mine, you get yours. That's a lot of people think like that because they want to be held on a pedestal. They want to stand in the ivory tower or stand in a high-rise skyscraper building and look down on everybody, and that makes them feel good. That validates to them that they've made it, that they're better, that they're different, that they're making more money, etc. Right? So you just have to be aware of these kinds of people. And you probably work with people that's like this. You probably have people in your family, more than likely, that you have at least one person in your family that's like this. And you work with a lot of people that's like this. And you probably look at football with people on Sundays, or whenever you look at basketball or any type of sports, or maybe you go to the PTA meetings if you have kids with other parents that are like this. They think like this. They think that they're much better off than certain people because of the color of their skin, because of the car they drive, because of the neighborhood they live, or because of what's been passed down to them through their lineage and family tree, all that stuff, you know? So you just have to really make a decision on how you're going to deal with certain types of people, whether you want to be close to them or get to know them, or whether you want to put space in between them, and just sometimes you might just have to go about your business, you know? Because another thing my grandparents and parents told me, everybody is not for everybody. That's just how that is. They said, if you meet somebody, man or woman, you can't change people. They said you got two choices. Either you're going to have to deal with them how they are, or you're going to have to move on. It's either or. You can't change people. You can't push things on people. If it ain't in you, it ain't going to come out. That's how that is. Or if whatever's in you is going to come out. So you can't really push anything on anybody. And they went on to say that most people you meet are like cheerleaders. They don't want to be a trendsetter. They don't want to stand out. They just want to fit in. They don't want to, even if it benefits the family or benefits them personally, they still won't do it. They would rather blend in the crowd and not be seen if it was up to them. And they don't want to get on no stage and speak in front of hundreds and thousands of people. They don't even want to speak in front of their family. They don't even want to do that. And then one of the biggest problems today is you have women that want to be first all the time. Not only do they want to be first, they want to be first in the family. They want to be put on a pedestal for everything. And that doesn't work. That's never been proven to work in any society. Because if the woman's first in the family is going to be taken down. The family, more than likely, is going to be attacked and is going to be destroyed and is going to crumble, because women, just by nature, unless she's specially trained or something like that, cannot physically maintain and really protect themselves like guys can. And most women, if if the for example, if somebody kicks your door down and it's you and the kids and your wife in the house, your woman is gonna look at you. She's not gonna jump up and instantly going into protection mode. No, she's gonna look at you, because women by nature like to be protected. So whenever I hear women talking about being independent and all these feminist type groups or women or whatever, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't even add up. It's not even practical. It's all emotional talk, because the family goes as far as the men. If the men are weak or broken, or if no man exists in any of the families, well, the family goes to hell. That's just basic yin and yang principle. That's just practical. I've never seen a family maintain itself with a bunch of women taking charge and making tough decisions. I've just never seen it that way. And now I know some women that have tried to take on the man role in families, but they usually burn out. So you might have two women that's married now that they passed the law, federal laws, but those relationships, they're dysfunctional. It doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't really go anywhere. The whole family tree, from the two women being married and they'll adopt kids, and the kids they're growing up confused as ever. I just haven't. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been problems in the past with males and females being together. However, I don't understand how having two women together, how do they work that out? You can't sustain the family that way. And who's going to take on who's going to take on the family's last name to the next generation? There's just a lot of questions that just can't be answered. For the most part, the males or the sons of the offspring usually take on the family's last name. Women don't take on the family's last name. Usually, unless she's an entertainer or a well-known person or something like that. But for the most part, the males usually take on the family last name. So if you have two women married together, you can't maintain that. That's all I'm saying. So everything, it's not a practical way of living as far as the family structure goes. And this is some of the stuff that my grandparents and grandparents taught me. I mean, you got to be practical. You got to it can't be about how you feel all the time. You got to do things for the family. You got to do things for your last name. You got to do things for your kids, for the next generation. You might have to sacrifice yourself for your kids or for the next generation. You just might have to do that. Now, a lot of parents aren't willing to do that. I get it. I get this. I know this. A lot of parents aren't willing to sacrifice anything for their kids. They just want to be comfortable. They just want to work their job, go to the football or basketball game, look at television, go out of town every once in a while, and go to work and kiss people's ass. Most people, they're just happy with that. Really. They're just happy with that. Really. Which is sad, but true. And they just want to be average, sit in the crowd, be liked by everybody, and that's it. But my parents told me that how you meet people, how they come in is how they leave. So in other words, if you meet a woman at the club, and if she's a regular at the club, well, that's her thing. You shouldn't try to change her. If she's a regular at the club, she's probably gonna always be in the club. So if you don't like that, you're gonna have to move on. 'Cause that's just how she gets down. You can't change people. You gotta let them be who they are. You can't change the way they dress. You can't change their priorities in life. You can't really change how they think. You can't really change very much. You can't change anything about a person. But women try to change guys all the time. But it's a losing game. You've already lost if you're trying to change somebody. So this is some of the best advice I think I've gotten, man, growing up by my parents and grandparents. So hopefully some of this will help you out. And don't forget to like and share and comment on my video. And subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog. Until next time, I'm out.